Hey everybody, good Friday to you. Hey, I want to do an update. And the school district in Mason County have come out recently and raised a few questions. And we got an email, many of you might have gotten that also through this from the school district that said that the district, although we are currently in, I think, an orange zone of caution with COVID, um, where there's recommendations of remote learning, that the school district at this moment is still committed to continue in-person learning. So that's a big deal because if they transition to remote, that will certainly affect our older classrooms. If you have toddlers or kiddos in our early preschool school classrooms, the remote learning impact will be very little. If you have kiddos in our preschool, pre-K, kindergarten, or school age, that's where that remote learning would impact that the most. So just know that while we're working on contingency plan B and C, in case the district pulls the plug, say after Thanksgiving or after Christmas and goes remote learning, we'll work to implement those things then. When it comes to the COVID flow chart, so we've got that for major symptoms and minor symptoms. It's at the front entrance of both centers. And while we continue to really monitor every child as they come in, we're temping kids in the morning. We're asking our families to continue with the mask and following the mask mandate as our staff. We understand that there's other illnesses that are going to come, the flu and so forth, and they're going to look, sound, feel just like COVID. So I really encourage you that if your child is exhibiting one or more symptoms, call your doctor. If they want to see you, go in, have them see, get a letter to clear you. Because if a child has even a minor symptom, they're to be excluded for 24 hours. If it doesn't cure itself, if it doesn't resolve itself rather, then the results can be a recommended 10-day quarantine or a negative test or a clearance from your doctor. So I would just encourage families to be very proactive with communicating with your doctor and really paying attention to your kids' symptoms, and communicate with staff. The last thing we want to do is call you and disrupt your workday and ask you to come pick up your kiddo, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen all winter long, and there's no other way around it. So if you're proactive and constantly monitoring your child and reaching out to your physician, getting clearance if necessary, really helping us, taking your child's temperature if you see any reason, any indication in the morning, or even routinely would be great. Helping us keep all of this out of the center, keeps our classrooms open, and keeps Discovery Kids open. I've had several families ask me about masks and teachers wearing masks. And our teachers have done, I feel, a pretty good job wearing their masks consistently. But one of the things I want to share when it comes to working with a classroom of children, and in our program, we have children that have been diagnosed, or rather, better probably said, more appropriately, identified as having special needs. We have children how do I say this without telling you? In basically every classroom, almost every single classroom that have been identified with either speech or a hearing need, where they're receiving services or otherwise. And one of the one of the items that does not require someone to wear a mask is when communicating with someone with a speech or hearing impairment or a special need that requires more attention and attentiveness to communication. So I hope you'll understand that while masks are mandated, if we have children in our program that fall under these conditions, or even staff members that do, they're not required to wear a mask in that scenario. Now, they are absolutely required to wear a mask to and from classrooms. They're coming out to use a bathroom, going into the kitchen. So my staff should always be very good and diligent on that. But if they are in the classroom, in their cohort, if you will, with children in there that they recognize as needing that extra guidance, not so much guidance, but communication, then they may be without a mask. The other element is those staff of ours that are more diligent at wearing masks. I've asked them to be very conscious about those children that need that extra communication. Make sure they're enunciating, communicating well, and being aware that that child may have a more challenging time taking direction in an 8-hour day if a staff member is wearing a mask, whether they're toddlers or school agers. So I just want to share that. You're welcome to reach out to me through Fruita Kids or Grand Junction Kids at Gmail. You're welcome to call me. Be happy to talk more about that if you have questions or concerns. And then finally, we've come up with a school calendar, and we're kind of doing a trial run in Fruita with our school agers and CCAP families. So it's an interactive school calendar. You'll see it soon. If you received one, it's a way for you to communicate when your child is going to be here at the school or not. Specifically, the intention was for non-school days. So anyway, if you've seen that, there's another instructional video that I made on how to use that. So anyway, just look for that. That'll be a great way to communicate specifically over holidays and stuff like that, if your kiddo is going to be in our care or not. All right, I got through my notes. Wrap up. Thank you all. Appreciate you. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless.